Hudson Rex is coming back, but not in the way you think. Season 8 has sparked a tidal wave of confusion, excitement, and heartbreak. New trailer? Leaked cast photos? Sure. But where's Charlie? Where's Rex? The face of the show and its four-legged heart seem to have vanished, replaced by unfamiliar names and unfamiliar paws. Fans are stunned, and many are asking the same haunting question. Can it even be Hudson and Rex, without Hudson or Rex? From the outside, Hudson and Rex Season 8 looks like business as usual. The show's been officially renewed, production kicked off in May 2025, and everything's moving on schedule in St. John's, Newfoundland. But something's clearly off. The trailer is slick, fast-paced, and dramatic, but one thing is impossible to ignore. Charlie Hudson, the show's beloved detective, is nowhere to be seen. And Rex, the loyal German shepherd, who's been solving crimes at Charlie's side since episode 1, is missing too. This isn't just a creative shakeup, it's a seismic shift. Fans first sensed trouble back in Season 7. Charlie's appearances became fewer, his storylines thinner. Then came that explosive finale. Charlie, shot while protecting his brother Jack and a woman named Maria, disappeared into thin air. No follow-up, no closure, just gone. It was a shocking way to write out a character who'd carried the show since day one. The move raised eyebrows, but what came next raised alarms. Not long after, John Reardon, the actor behind Charlie Hudson, shared a deeply personal Instagram post. On Christmas Eve, he revealed that he had been battling tonsil cancer. He posted 2 photos side by side, one before treatment and one after, captioned with heartfelt gratitude for the love and support he'd received. He praised his family, his doctors, and reminded everyone to never underestimate kindness. It was raw, it was honest. And suddenly, everything about Season 7's strange pacing made sense. Charlie's reduced role wasn't a creative decision, it was a fight for life happening off-screen. While fans rallied behind Reardon, hoping for his full recovery, a bigger question loomed. Would he ever return to Hudson and Rex? So far, there's been no official statement from the actor or his team, but City TV made their position loud and clear. Promotional material for Season 8 didn't just reduce Charlie's presence, it erased it. His name was gone, his face replaced. In his place? A new detective, Mark Hudson, played by Luke Roberts, best known for his role in Game of Thrones. The shift was jarring, not just because it came without warning, but because it was so complete. No farewell episode, no send-off, just gone. If you're wondering why the new detective has the last name Hudson, you're not alone. Some fans believe it's just a convenient way to keep the show's title intact without the original actor. Others suspect he might be a long-lost relative of Charlie, or maybe it's all just clever marketing to keep audiences guessing. Either way, it feels like a clean break from everything the show has been up until now. But if losing Charlie wasn't enough, there's more heartbreak in store. Behind the scenes, Diesel, the German shepherd who played Rex, was quietly battling late-stage cancer. During the filming of Season 7, he underwent emergency surgery, but tragically he passed away just 4.5 weeks later. His trainer and executive producer, Sherry Davis, shared the devastating news, calling Diesel her soul partner and best friend. He wasn't just an animal actor, he was Rex, on screen and off. His loss hit the entire team hard, and fans around the world shared their condolences. So, with Charlie gone and Diesel no longer with us, fans are left asking, what's left of Hudson and Rex? Can a show built entirely around the chemistry between a detective and his dog survive without either? Can new cast members and canine replacements capture the same magic? The showrunners seem to think so, but the jury's still out, and the audience isn't exactly thrilled. In place of Diesel, the role of Rex will now be handled by 4 of his nephews. Dylan and Dante will take on most of the acting, while Ishii and Ieko handle stunts and more demanding sequences. Sherry Davis insists that they're doing their absolute best to live up to Diesel's legacy, and to honor him by continuing the character he made iconic. Still, it's a tall order. Diesel had a presence that couldn't be trained or rehearsed. It was instinct, charm, and a whole lot of heart. Meanwhile, Luke Roberts has stepped into some very big shoes. He's no stranger to crime dramas, but taking the lead in a show as emotionally bonded to its core duo as Hudson and Rex is a daunting task. And the internet is buzzing with theories. Is Mark Hudson really a full replacement, or just a temporary cover until Charlie makes a surprise return mid-season? Is the promotional push intentionally misleading us? Are the showrunners setting up a dramatic comeback twist? Right now, no one knows, but fans are watching closely, dissecting every clip and every leaked detail. So far, the show has remained tight-lipped. City TV only confirmed that John Reardon would not return for Season 8 and that the new episodes would feature fresh perspectives, gripping cases, and a bold new direction. Bold indeed, because changing both leads of a well-loved series in a single season isn't just risky, it's nearly unheard of. And while change isn't always bad, this much change all at once has left the fandom divided. Some are hopeful, curious to see how the new detective will evolve and whether the new dogs can carry on Rex's legacy. Others feel betrayed, as if the heart of the show has been surgically removed. Many still hold out hope that this is all part of a larger plan, that Charlie will return, that Diesel's legacy won't be forgotten, that Hudson and Rex will somehow still feel like Hudson and Rex. Losing Diesel wasn't just the end of an era. It left a void that simply can't be filled. For 7 seasons, he wasn't just the dog on Hudson and Rex. He was the emotional anchor, the show's quiet hero, and often the most expressive actor in a scene without saying a word. His presence was calming, loyal, and deeply comforting to viewers. So now that he's gone, the question isn't just, who's playing Rex now? It's, can Rex even be played by anyone else? That's where the showrunners made a carefully calculated decision. They didn't go looking for an outside replacement. Instead, they turned to Diesel's own bloodline. His nephews, Dylan and Dante, will now portray Rex in alternating roles, with Aishi and Yeko stepping in when stunts or physically demanding scenes are required. It's a smart move emotionally. By keeping it in the family, the production is signaling that they still respect Diesel's memory and want to keep his spirit alive in the show, even if he's no longer there physically. Trainer and executive producer Sherry Davis was clear. These boys are trying their hardest to carry Diesel's legacy forward, and it's not easy. He was one of a kind. And while the fans appreciate the effort, there's still hesitation in the air. Social media is already filled with side-by-side comparison videos, fans pointing out tiny differences, Rex's ear tilt looks different, or his reaction speed seems off. These aren't complaints, they're grief in disguise. The audience loved Diesel deeply, and now they're watching closely to see if they can love again. But the shift isn't just about the dog. With Luke Roberts now wearing the badge as Detective Mark Hudson, the entire tone of the series could shift. Roberts brings a more stoic, serious energy to the screen, far from the warm, grounded vibe John Reardon gave to Charlie. Fans familiar with Roberts' work on Game of Thrones or Ransom know he's capable of brooding intensity, but Hudson and Rex was never just about solving crimes. It was about friendship, trust, and loyalty. Can Roberts bring that emotional connection to life? Or will the show lean harder into procedural drama now? City TV's official description of the new season calls it a fresh chapter for the franchise, promising elevated storytelling, deeper character arcs, and emotionally charged cases. Translation? Expect change, lots of it. The trailer flashes through crime scenes, chase sequences, and high-stakes moments, but offers little to no context. It almost feels like a reset. Rex is there, but barely visible. Mark Hudson dominates the screen, solving crimes and barking orders. But Charlie's absence is screaming through the silence, and that's exactly what fans are noticing. The subreddit is flooded with theories. Some believe Charlie is in hiding, recovering from his injuries in secret. Others say he's been written out permanently, and the producers just don't want to make a big deal of it because of Reardon's health. Then there's the third camp, the hopeful ones. The ones who think this is all a misdirect, that halfway through the season, in a dramatic twist, Charlie will return, maybe with scars, maybe on the run, maybe undercover, but alive, and still part of the story. And here's where it gets really interesting. Several crew members were spotted filming late-night scenes in locations never used before in the series. One particular scene, filmed near an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of St. John's, was shot under extreme secrecy. Closed set, heavy NDAs, no media access. Why all the secrecy if it's just a regular Case of the Week episode? That's the kind of detail that fuels speculation. Fans are desperate for any sign, any proof that Charlie isn't gone for good. And then there's the elephant in the room. Why Mark Hudson? That last name isn't just a coincidence. Is he supposed to be a relative, a cousin, a long-lost brother, or is it just lazy writing to keep the show's branding intact? So far, the trailer offers zero clues, but the ambiguity feels deliberate. The name Hudson being passed on could symbolize the torch being handed off. Or it could hint at a deeper connection we haven't seen yet. The showrunners have been notoriously quiet on this. In interviews, they've danced around the subject, saying only that Season 8 will surprise longtime viewers and introduce unexpected developments. Which is fine, except that Hudson Rex has always been about comfort TV, predictable in the best way. When you watched it, you knew what you were getting. Now, it's a mystery, and not the kind that gets wrapped up in 44 minutes. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the showrunners want us uncomfortable. Maybe they want the audience to feel the same loss and confusion the characters are feeling inside the show. If that's the goal, they've nailed it. Because right now, fans are not just watching a new season, they're grieving the old one. And whether that grief will transform into acceptance or outright rejection depends entirely on what Season 8 delivers in its first few episodes. So far, we've seen replacements, secrecy, and subtle misdirection. But what we haven't seen is a clear direction. Who is Mark Hudson, really? How different will Rex feel, even if played by Diesel's nephews? And what's the emotional anchor now that both original stars are gone? These are the questions that Season 8 must answer, and fast. Because while fans are loyal, they're also heartbroken. And heartbreak is a hard thing to rebuild from, even for a show that once felt like home. As soon as the trailer dropped, it was obvious. This season isn't playing it safe. The changes aren't small tweaks, they're complete structural overhauls. Replacing one major character is risky. Replacing both at the same time? That's almost unheard of in television. And yet, that's exactly what Hudson Rex Season 8 is doing, whether fans are ready or not. The reaction? Mixed at best. In fan forums, YouTube comments, and across social media, the response has ranged from cautious optimism to absolute outrage. One fan wrote, "This isn't Hudson Rex anymore. This is a reboot wearing the skin of the original." Another said, "I get that Reardon was sick. I respect that. But at least give Charlie a proper goodbye." That's the core sentiment that keeps surfacing. It's not just about losing beloved characters. It's about how they were lost, quietly, with no closure. And then there are the fans who feel emotionally blindsided. For 7 seasons, Hudson and Rex built its identity around a simple, pure relationship. A man and his dog, solving crimes and healing emotional wounds along the way. It wasn't trying to be edgy or provocative. It didn't need explosions or shocking deaths to keep people watching. It worked because it was grounded. It made you feel safe, and now it feels like that safety net has been ripped away. Still, there are those giving the new direction a chance. Some fans are excited about Luke Roberts taking the lead, praising his acting chops and screen presence. "If anyone can step into big shoes, it's him," one user posted. And let's be fair, Roberts does have the resume. He's proven he can carry complex roles. But the question is whether his version of Hudson can connect with an audience who never asked for change in the first place. What's even more complicated is that City TV isn't calling this a reboot. They're calling it a new chapter. But the tone of the trailer, the marketing campaign, and the cast reshuffle all scream soft reboot, and that matters. Because expectations shift depending on how change is presented. If you're transparent, fans may be more forgiving. If you mask massive transitions as business as usual, people feel misled. Right now, Hudson and Rex feels like it's straddling that uncomfortable space between evolution and erasure. And then there's the issue of timing. Diesel's passing and John Reardon's illness weren't planned, obviously. These were real-life hardships that disrupted production, and no one blames them for that. But the show's response, the almost clinical replacement of both stars, feels like a rushed solution to a deeply emotional problem. The decision to roll out Season 8 with new faces and no goodbye left a bad taste in many mouths. There's a feeling of emotional whiplash. One moment, you're watching Charlie and Rex share quiet moments in the field. The next, they're gone, and you're being told to invest in brand new characters with zero buildup. And let's not forget the emotional weight of Diesel's legacy. He wasn't just acting, he was the emotional through line of every case. Fans remember the subtle head tilts, the comforting nuzzles, the way he would sprint into danger to protect Charlie without hesitation. That connection can't be duplicated easily, not even by his own bloodline. So, while having Dylan, Dante, Ishii, and Yeko step in is a thoughtful choice, the reality is that viewers are still going to feel the loss in every scene. The new trailer tries to fill that gap with action. It's faster paced, the crimes look more intense, the cinematography feels darker. And maybe that's intentional. Maybe the show is leaning into a more modern crime drama style to draw in new audiences. But here's the catch. Hudson and Rex already had an audience, a deeply loyal one, and you don't just trade that for a trendy facelift without risking everything that made the show work in the first place. City TV claims that this new season will push boundaries and redefine the series. But those are risky promises when you've already alienated half your base. Because redefining a series doesn't always mean improvement. Sometimes, it just means departure. And the more distance you put between the show's original DNA and its new version, the harder it is to win back hearts. That said, there's still a small glimmer of hope keeping fans watching. It's the one thread the show hasn't cut completely: uncertainty. Because so far, we haven't seen Charlie's body. We haven't heard from him on screen. There's no tombstone, no funeral, no obituary, just silence. And in TV land, silence often means one thing: come back. Could it be that Charlie is being saved for a major mid-season reveal? A shocking twist where he returns undercover or in hiding? Is the trailer deliberately holding back? It's possible. The cast and crew have been unusually secretive this season. Filming locations are locked down. Spoilers are almost non-existent. Even the press releases are vague. That level of control only happens when something big is being hidden. If that's true, and Charlie does return, it could flip the narrative entirely. A surprise comeback would not only redeem the emotional fallout, it could restore faith in the show's creators. But if he doesn't? If Season 8 ends without a single word from Charlie Hudson, then Hudson and Rex as we know it is truly over, and all that's left is a brand name with new faces behind it. So, what's next? The fans are split, the story is unfinished, and the pressure is on. Because this season is more than just another batch of episodes. It's a test. A test of whether Hudson and Rex can evolve without losing its heart, whether fans can grieve and still find reasons to stay, and whether a show built on loyalty can survive its biggest betrayal yet. Here we are. Season 8 is on the horizon, but Hudson and Rex no longer feels like the same show. What began as a heartwarming Canadian police drama built around the unbreakable bond between Charlie Hudson and his canine partner Rex has now become something entirely different. It's not just about new cases or fresh locations, it's about whether the soul of the show can survive without its core. Because make no mistake, what made Hudson and Rex special wasn't just the cases or the crime solving, it was the quiet humanity. It was those silent moments where Charlie would look at Rex and somehow know exactly what to do. It was the comfort of routine, the deep loyalty between man and dog, and the emotional safety net that fans came to rely on. People didn't just watch Hudson and Rex. They felt it. And now, that feeling is in danger of vanishing. City TV is betting big on Season 8. By bringing in Luke Roberts as Detective Mark Hudson and reintroducing Rex through Diesel's own nephews, they're trying to strike a delicate balance, new energy with old bones. They want it to feel familiar, but fresh. And while the effort is clear, the risk is just as high. Because when you remove both title characters from a show, you're not just changing the formula, you're rewriting its entire identity. Still, not all hope is lost. There are whispers, rumors too persistent to ignore, that John Reardon's absence may not be permanent. He's remained silent since his health announcement, focusing on recovery and family and staying off the radar. But the silence is almost too complete. No official goodbye, no farewell episode, not even a send-off voiceover. If the writers truly intended to write him off for good, wouldn't they give Charlie Hudson, the heart of the show, the send-off he deserves? The fans think so. Theories are everywhere. That Charlie is in hiding, forced into witness protection after that Season 7 cliffhanger. That he's recovering somewhere off-grid, waiting for the right moment to come back. That he faked his death, or that someone else faked it for him. Theories range from the emotional to the absurd, but they all come from the same place. Hope. Because as long as Charlie hasn't been seen, he hasn't been lost. Not completely. That hope might just be the lifeline the show needs. Because let's face it, fans want to believe. They want to think this is part of a bigger story arc. They want to believe their investment in Charlie and Rex still means something. And if the showrunners are smart, they'll use that. They'll play the long game, slowly bringing back emotional continuity, even if the faces have changed. What Hudson and Rex needs now is clarity. Either give Charlie a real, honest goodbye, or let him come back and finish what he started. Either let Diesel's legacy live through his nephews with dignity, or find a new emotional thread to pull fans in. What the show can't afford is to float in limbo, trying to be everything to everyone and ending up as nothing to anyone. Because right now, the audience is standing on a knife's edge. Too much change without payoff and they'll walk away, but just enough mystery, just enough heart, and just enough truth, and they'll hold on. They'll watch, they'll forgive, because that's what this show was built on, trust, between partners, between creators and viewers. And if Season 8 can tap into even a fraction of that original bond, there's a path forward. Still, time is running out. First impressions matter. If Episode 1 drops without addressing Charlie's fate or Diesel's passing in a meaningful way, the backlash will be swift. People need closure, or surprise, or both. What they can't accept is silence. So, as we wait for Hudson and Rex Season 8 to hit screens, likely in December 2025 in Canada and early 2026 internationally, the stakes couldn't be higher. A new dog, a new detective, a new chapter. But the question remains, can you really keep the name Hudson and Rex without Hudson or Rex? That's the question this season must answer. Not with press releases, not with clever trailers, but with storytelling that respects its past and dares to earn its future. And now, it's your turn. Are you ready to meet Mark Hudson? Do you believe Diesel's legacy can live on through his nephews? And more importantly, do you think Charlie will return?